Hi, this is my presentation. So I named my presentation Gender Pay Gaps, mostly because everything that I'm going to be talking about kind of sums up to this one topic. And I'm going to be discussing an HR related question that was posted. So the question that was posted is, the first one was, in what types of situations are companies still being sued for violating the Equal Pay Act? The second question was, why are women still being paid less than women in many cases for the same work? So before we discuss the actual questions, I wanted to discuss what is the Equal Pay Act. So here I have a picture that basically says, equal work deserves equal pay. So the Equal Pay Act requires that men and women be given equal pay for equal work in the same establishment. So this means employers may not pay unequal wages to men and women who perform jobs that require the same skills, same effort, and the same responsibilities. Some measurements of the Equal Pay Act, which I kind of just mentioned, are skill, effort, responsibility, working conditions, and establishment. To go into a little bit more detail in regards to skill, this basically means what skills are required for the job, not what skills the individual has. For effort as well, is the amount of physical or mental exertion needed to perform the actual job. Responsibility refers to the degree of accountability or responsibility required in performing that job. For working conditions, it's a little different. It's basically physical surroundings like temperature, ventilation, fumes, as well as hazards. And establishment means an establishment is a distinct physical place of business rather than an entire business. So now that we've discussed more or less what the Equal Pay Act is, we're going to discuss question 1. So here I have question 1, and question 1 is, in what types of situations are companies still being sued for violating the Equal Pay Act? I'm going to see if I can move this right over here so you can see the question. So in what types of situations are companies still being sued for violating the Equal Pay Act? So, I have 3 situations that I have researched that I believe companies are being sued for when violating the Pay Act, which is in regards to education, in regards to skilled labor, and in regards to sports. So when it comes to education, a lot of universities are actually paying female professors less than male professors. So I did some research on this, and I found that in the University of Denver, I think it was about 7 female professors filed a lawsuit against the university, charging them with violating federal law by paying a class of female full professors at the college university lower salaries than it paid to their male counterparts who were performing equal amount of work and equal amount of effort as well. So the University of Denver was sued for Title VII as well as violation of the Equal Pay Act of 1963. And this was released on June 1st on 2018, if you were wondering. So the second bullet point says discrimination in regards to skilled labor. So denying female employees who do the same essential work as male employees the salary they request. So here I found there was a lawsuit in 2017 regarding Joanna Smith, who had a Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering and more than 5 years of experience in engineering. So she was hired for an engineering position in Prince George's County Department of Environment, and she debated for her salary to be higher. However, they did not want to raise her salary. They did not want to give her the salary that she requested. However, 2 weeks later, they hired a male engineer with the same amount of experience, same credentials, same amount of work they're performing, and they gave him the salary he requested. So right there you can see it is not equal work for equal pay. If Joanna had the same amount, same skills, same experience, and she wanted a higher salary, but it was given to the male instead of her. And then we come into the third bullet point, which is gender discrimination in regards to sports. So here I found that women are paid low when it comes to their sports teams. So I found that in 2017, the U.S. national team actually sued the USFF for violation of the Equal Pay Act. So women's soccer team was actually being paid way less based on their contracts compared to the male soccer team. The USSFF, in fact, even admitted that it pays its female player employees less than it does its male employees. And they've even gone far to say that they do this because market realities are such that the women do not deserve to be paid equally to the men, a stereotype that's been around for years. So now that we've discussed question 1, I'm going to come into question 2 now. Why are women still being paid less than men in many cases for the same amount of work that they do? So, if women are paid equal to men for the same work performed, it will advance in gender parity. So, this means that if gender parity does exist, women will have more access to the nation's social, economic, and political opportunities, something that has been denied from them various times. Pay disparities diminish women's equal status as citizens as well. So this kind of ties in with the bullet point 1. Bullet point 3 states that persons in decision-making positions either ignore the disparities that happen or by tacit approval become complicit in a larger systematic institutional practice. The fourth bullet point states human capital variations, which include things such as education, skills, working conditions. So I was doing a little research, and in an article I found that there was a gender pay gap that was observed among Uber drivers. And it said that Uber male drivers were actually making consistently more than women Uber drivers. And some of the factors that contributed to this gender pay gap was that male Uber drivers selected different tasks than female drivers, including being more willing to work at night and to work in neighborhoods that were perceived to be more dangerous. Another one is that personal level factors like task selection, so how fast you do your task, can influence the gender pay gap as well. So sometimes men may perform their tasks faster than women can, which can cause a gender pay gap. Studies also indicated that in the market, reservation wages may be lower for women with children since they are more willing to accept any job even if it pays poorly. So some women who are very economically unstable may not even care how much they're getting paid as long as they're getting paid, because they need that money to not only provide for themselves but for their children as well. Another one is motherhood penalty. So there's always been a negative relationship between a woman's wage and the number of children she has, or even if she has children at all. And some other factors include persistent discrimination, so discrimination against women, stereotyping against women, implicit biases in earnings and promotion opportunities for women as well. So now that I've discussed those two questions, why women are being paid less and why are companies still suing, I'm then going to discuss my sources and what sources I use to not only find out my examples, but also all the information I gathered. So I was required to use credible resources. So I got all these resources. They're all scholarly articles except for the last two, which came from the government website, the EEOC.gov. And there, for those two links, I researched what the Equal Pay Act was and what it consisted of. And then for the first 4 articles, I got them from Croquet Central, which has a lot of scholarly articles. And I believe these resources to be credible because it includes research that is backed up by not only evidence from different resources, but references as well. All the authors also have credentials in their field. 2 of them have PhDs, and the other ones have been in studying their subject for a very long time. Also, all the articles have been peer-reviewed. So when an article is peer-reviewed, it means that it has been written by an expert and then reviewed by other experts in that field. All the articles as well are also not outdated. I tried to find articles that were very recent, so all my information can be credible and can be accurate. So this is my presentation. Goodbye.